to me, it seems like he had the means to let a crew in there to plant explosives. And he said he pulled it? What the?
Here in the BBC World studio is the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, who's in London at the moment. Mr. Barak, welcome to BBC World. First, your reaction, having heard what's happened. At least 4 planes have been hijacked, and there may be more.
The world will not be the same from today on. It's an attack against our whole civilization. I don't know who is responsible. I believe we will know in 12 hours. If it is a kind of bin Laden organization, and even if it's something else, I believe that this is the time to deploy a globally concerted effort led by the United States, the UK, Europe, and Russia against all sources of terror, and will isolate automatically any nation that is ready to host terror or support them. By doing this consistently along 6 or 10 years, we will reduce dramatically this challenge to all our way of life.
And word late tonight that 2 suspects are in FBI custody after a truckload of explosives was discovered around the George Washington Bridge. That bridge links New York to New Jersey over the Hudson River. Whether the discovery of those explosives had anything to do with other events of the day is unclear, but the FBI has 2 suspects in hand, said the truck load of explosives, enough explosives were in the truck to do great damage to the George Washington Bridge. But they arrested the 2 suspects and they're questioning them as we speak.
If you're watching this already, you probably already are convinced that there is some fishy stuff going on around the 9/11 story. So I'm not going to go into secondary explosives or explosives bringing that building down, even though obviously they did. What I am going to say is we arrested a bunch of people with a truck full of explosives on 9/11 in New York City. You don't think that there's a connection there? Like, you really think that that's just a coincidence? And this was reported on many different channels. And then the story just disappeared from the news? It is obvious that many of these news networks were involved in this plot.
The New York City Police Department has a report that the FBI is responding to New Jersey because a truck reportedly loaded with explosives has been stopped by authorities on the road there, and the men with that truck have been detained. Members of the Joint Terrorist Task Force, according to the New York police officials, are responding to question those people. I want to underline that all the phones to police headquarters and to the FBI from here seem to be disabled.
I grabbed my binoculars and I could see the towers from my window. And this is where I'm looking. And all of a sudden, down there, I see this van parked. And I see 3 guys on top of the van. And I could see that they were like happy. They didn't look shocked to me. They didn't look shocked. I thought it was very strange.
I just happened to see the van and, hollered over to my lieutenant. I think that could be the van. We checked it out, and it was. We were all on edge, obviously, so I really wasn't looking to make friends with these people, and neither were the officers that I were with. Once we started talking to them, they were pretty much like, hey, we're not against you, we're with you.
These are some of the Israelis arrested for videotaping before 9/11 happened, and they went on TV to just say they were just there to document the event. How'd they know the event was going to happen?
Hello, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
You mentioned the September 10th, 2001 mindset. That made me nervous, so I think it should be September 9th. I was wondering if the missing $2 trillion plus that Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld reported on September 10th, 2001, where those trillions went. Did you all ever find it?
I have to say, I must have missed that news report about the missing trillions.
What's your general viewpoint about people who think the federal government was involved in 9/11?
I think that that's in the same category as Holocaust denial.
Mandy in New Orleans, you're on with Michael Chertoff. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Would you please allow me a follow-up, because I know predictably what this man will answer to my questions. Mr. Chertoff, please do not feign ignorance on this, because if I can find this out, certainly you know it. Recently, 6 of the 10 9/11 commissioners have stated publicly that the 9/11 Commission was hogwashed, that it was set up to fail, and it was a whitewash. Recently, Bethlehem Publications, 9 scientists that were given debris from the World Trade Centers have found evidence of nanothermite, a high-grade military explosive.
Okay, Mandy, thank you. We're going to leave it there because we know where you're going. Mr. Chertoff, you've addressed that question.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, this crops up from time to time, and it has been looked at thoroughly by everybody. Frankly, you have people who witnessed the planes going into the buildings. I mean, it's I have to say, it's like Holocaust denial, and the people who believe the president was not born in Hawaii. It's just a myth.
This is the Zionist Michael Chertoff. His father and grandfather were both Talmudic rabbis. And you might be wondering at this point what Holocaust denial is. I was too, and I'd never even heard of it really until I started investigating 9/11. I'll just refer you onto the free movie you can find online. Simply search in Google, 1/3 of the Holocaust. It's kind of an interesting topic, and I was shocked and learned something new. It's also worth noting that Michael Chertoff is believed to be a dual citizen of Israel, and even if he isn't, just by being Jewish, he can become a citizen of Israel at any time he wants to if he seeks refuge there. He can also take any money he acquired, illegally or legally, to Israel, no questions asked, as part of his becoming a citizen. His grandfather was a rabbi who was involved with the creation of Israel, and Rapiscan Systems, the company that manufactures radiating body scanners at many airports, was a client of his security consulting firm, the Chertoff Group. His brother, Ben Chertoff, is most well known for his work on the Popular Mechanics magazine's article, Debunking the 9/11 Myths. Yeah, I'm not going to say what I think of that article because I don't want to have vulgarities as a reason for this movie to get censored.
Good morning. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Mr. Chertoff.
Morning.
Excuse me. I have 33 years in the military, 5 years working for the Department of Defense, and to this day I still see the cover-up on 9/11. We know that Abel Danger, which infiltrated the terrorist activities, had photographs of the terrorists, knew that they had a plan to attack targets, and a report went forward, said on either Clinton's desk, I believe it was 98, 99, or Jamie Gorelick's desk, and it was never acted on.
You write in your book about you call this a generational challenge. Unquestionably, the threats we face constitute a generational challenge to our nation. What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that the 21st century is a different kind of warfare than the 20th century.
It will not be so easy to go aboard an airplane in the near future. Every simple step, crossing borders or going on a plane or on a ship, will become more complicated.
Now let's go back and examine some of the bias that is obvious in CNN's broadcast of this. Again, I don't want to just pick on CNN. You got to look at it this way. If the news network isn't calling 9/11 Truth for what it is and is calling 9/11 Truthers crazy or whatever, they are full of it, and they should not be trusted.
A whole web of beliefs has grown to support this conspiracy theory. Listen to these Americans interviewed on Iranian television.
This is a big plot to take control of us, to start war.
One of the beliefs is that some 4,000 Israelis or Jews in the New York City area were warned by instant messages not to go to work on 9/11. A retired police sergeant who is Jewish, the claim is outrageous.
The remains consisted of a piece of bone, 2.5 inches long and about 1 inch wide, about the size of your index finger.
And that's all they ever found?
That's all they ever found.
Sexer's son Jason died in the towers. He says Jason received no warning. Neither did some 400 Jews who died in the tragedy.
Give me the names of the 4,000 Jews who stayed home. Show me something. There is nothing to show. This is a total, ridiculous, asinine rumor that was started by anti-Semites.
When you imply that somehow Israelis were involved in the attack on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, people are going to look at you, critics will say, you are an anti-Semite.